the opportunity to explain all of the evidence. This chemical reacts no matter how many years later, no matter what attempt at cleanup is done. The chemical is still going to react to the presence of the blood. So then you have that reaction.
In a stunning turn of events, YNW Melly may be sentenced to life in prison without parole, marking the end of his music career and any hope of freedom. The double homicide charges, the legal proceedings that followed, and the controversy surrounding his reaction to the charges may ruin YNW Melly's once promising career. Could this be goodbye forever? This is a story of his crimes, trial, and heart-wrenching reaction to the allegations against him. Melly charged with double homicide. In 2018, the music industry was rocked by a chilling incident that would forever tarnish the name of rising rapper YNW Melly. It all began on a fateful night when tragedy struck. Two of Melly's closest friends, Anthony YNW Sack Chaser Williams and Christopher YNW Juvie Thomas Jr., were brutally gunned down. It is essential to explore the lives of the victims to comprehend the magnitude of this tragedy. YNW Juvie was a promising young artist with immense talent and raw potential. Contrary to the initial portrayal of a hardened lifestyle, testimonials from friends and family revealed his gentle nature, passion for music, and desire to escape the cycle of violence surrounding him. YNW Sack Chaser, known for his outgoing personality and infectious smile, was an aspiring entrepreneur. He aimed to uplift his community by creating opportunities, especially for young aspiring artists. Juvie and Sack Chaser had dreams, aspirations, and bright futures ahead of them, all tragically cut short. The aftermath of the double homicide fell heavily upon the victims' families, who were left to grapple with unimaginable pain and loss. Parents, siblings, and loved ones were forced to navigate a wave of emotions, sheer disbelief, anger, sorrow, and unanswered questions. Their grief was further compounded by the attention and speculation surrounding the high-profile case. The loss of YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser deeply impacted the community they called home. They were both seen as encouraging role models who aimed to use their talent to uplift those around them. Their absence left a void that could not be quickly filled, forever altering the pulse of their neighborhood. Melly, devastated by the loss of his friends right after they died, claimed that they had fallen victim to a drive-by shooting. He insisted that he and his friends were innocent victims caught in the crossfire of a random act of violence. The news of the alleged drive-by shooting spread like wildfire, capturing the attention of fans and the media alike. However, as the investigation unfolded, the truth began to unravel. The authorities, suspicious of Melly's claims, delved deeper into the circumstances surrounding the deaths of Williams and Thomas. Their findings would paint a much darker picture. Soon enough, the spotlight turned on Melly himself. The police alleged that he was not only involved in the murders, but had orchestrated them himself. In a shocking turn of events, Melly, along with another friend named Cortland YNW Bortland Henry, was arrested in connection with the murders. The authorities believed that Melly had pulled the trigger himself, with Henry acting as his accomplice. The charges brought against Melly were nothing short of severe. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, a crime that carried heavy penalties. The weight of the charges hung heavily over Melly as he faced the legal battle of his life. On the night of October 26, 2018, YNW Melly and his friends were driving through the streets of South Florida. It was during this fateful drive that the unthinkable allegedly occurred. Shots were fired, and both YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie were fatally wounded. The details surrounding the motive for the alleged crime are still murky, but rumors began to circulate that it may have been driven by a lucrative brand deal that went awry. The allure of money and fame can sometimes lead individuals down a dark path, and it seems that YNW Melly may have fallen victim to these temptations. First and foremost, ballistics reports revealed that the bullets recovered from the bodies of YNW Sack Chaser, 21 years, and YNW Juvie, 26, matched the firearm registered to YNW Melly. This crucial evidence raised serious questions about his potential role in the crime. Additionally, forensic analysis of the crime scene indicated that the shots were fired from inside the vehicle, further implicating YNW Melly. Furthermore, witnesses came forward, providing statements that suggested YNW Melly's involvement in the murders. These witnesses claimed to have seen YNW Melly with a firearm on the night of the incident and heard him make threatening remarks towards his friends. As the case gained media attention, YNW Melly's defense team fought back, claiming that the evidence was circumstantial and that their client was innocent. They argued that the rapper had no motive to harm his friends and that the prosecution's case was built on speculation rather than than concrete proof. However, the prosecution countered these claims with additional evidence. In the months following his arrest, YNW Melly's legal battle continued. Phone records, as per the provided information obtained during the investigation, revealed that YNW Melly had made calls to his friends shortly before the shooting, suggesting that he was close to the crime scene at the time of the incident. This evidence further strengthened the case against him. How did Melly go from aspiring music star to alleged cold-blooded murderer? Jamel Maurice Demons, known by his stage name YNW Melly, was born on May 1st, 1999. Growing up in the small South Florida community of Gifford, Melly had a deep love for music from a young age. He was captivated by artists like Chris Brown and Michael Jackson, whose talents inspired him to pursue a career in the industry. However, Melly developed an early fascination with guns alongside his musical aspirations. In interviews in an official YNW Melly documentary, he revealed that he discovered a revolver under his uncle's couch in 4th grade. From that moment on, he carried it everywhere, including school. This early exposure to firearms would later become a recurring theme in his life and music. Unfortunately, Melly's troubled relationship with the law began to unfold during his teenage years. In October 2015, at the age of 16, he found himself facing serious charges. Local Florida newspapers reported that Melly was charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault and 1 count of discharging a firearm in public. Allegedly, he fired a gun at 3 other students near their high school. This incident would be a pivotal moment in Melly's life, as it would later inspire one of his most haunting songs, Murder on My Mind. Despite these early encounters with the law, Melly's passion for music continued to grow. He began sharing rough freestyles on SoundCloud under his birth name, but by 2016, he had adopted the moniker YNW Melly. Alongside his longtime friends Anthony Williams, YNW Sack Chaser, Christopher Thomas Jr., YNW Juvie, and Cortland Henry, YNW Bortland, Melly formed the YNW crew, which stood for Young World or Young New Wave. YNW Melly's talent and dedication to music propelled him to new heights in the industry. In the months leading up to his last arrest, Melly experienced a significant breakthrough in his career. A month before his arrest in February 2019, the then 19-year-old artist from Gifford released his mixtape titled We All Shine. This project featured collaborations with some of the biggest names in the industry, including none other than Kanye West. The collaboration with Kanye West on the single Mixed Personalities showcased Melly's unique style and introduced him to a broader audience. The song gained significant attention and further solidified Melly's position in the music industry. The Mixed Personalities music video garnered millions of views on various platforms, further propelling Melly's fame. In addition to his collaboration with Kanye West, Melly also worked with other notable artists, including Young Thug. Their joint effort resulted in several songs showcasing the chemistry and talent of both artists. These collaborations expanded Melly's fan base and solidified his position as a rising star in the industry. However, it was Melly's chilling single, Murder on My Mind, that truly catapulted him into the spotlight. Released on March 4, 2017, the song quickly gained traction and became a viral sensation. Its haunting lyrics and introspective nature resonated with listeners, propelling it to the top of the charts. The song's popularity grew, eventually achieving gold certification and reaching multi-platinum status. Murder on My Mind showcased Melly's ability to craft emotionally charged and thought-provoking music. The song's almost diary-like intimacy and vivid storytelling captivated audiences, solidifying Melly's unique artistic voice. Legal proceedings and trial. Throughout the legal proceedings, Melly has maintained his innocence and pleaded not guilty. The high-profile case has garnered significant media attention, with fans and critics following every twist and turn closely. Melly is being represented by defense attorneys Jamie Benjamin and Stuart Adelstein for his trial. These are prominent criminal defense attorneys in Florida, known for representing high-profile clients in various legal cases. However, the prosecutor who opposed YNW Melly was Alexandra Buckaloo. Buckaloo served as the prosecutor in Melly's first trial, representing the state's interest in pursuing charges against him. The courtroom became a battleground as the prosecution and defense presented their cases, each fighting for their version of the truth. As the trial loomed, the tension grew. The prosecution presented extensive evidence against Melly, including witness testimonies and forensic analysis. The weight of the evidence seemed to stack against him, leaving many questioning whether Melly could prove his innocence. According to police reports, Melly and Bortland allegedly shot the victims from inside the car, while Bortland attempted to stage the deaths as a drive-by shooting. The investigation pointed to Melly's presence at the crime scene, supported by phone records and other evidence. Authorities argued that the bullet holes on the outside of the car were staged to misdirect the investigation. The trial, however, would not come without its fair share of challenges. The COVID-19 pandemic caused extensive delays, pushing the trial back for years. Melly found himself in a state of limbo, his music career put on hold indefinitely as he awaited his day in court from jail. Months turned into years as Melly remained behind bars, and the delays took a toll on him as he anxiously awaited the opportunity to prove his innocence. The weight of the charges against him hung heavily over his head, and the uncertainty of the future loomed large.
Jury selection is already underway in the second trial for Melly, whose real name is Jamel Demons. He's accused of killing two of his childhood friends in 2018, then creating a cover-up by staging a drive-by shooting.
Finally, the trial commenced as the world regained some semblance of normalcy. The courtroom became a battleground as the prosecution and defense presented their cases, each fighting for their version of the truth. Armed with a wealth of evidence, the prosecution meticulously laid out their case against Melly. Witness testimonies painted a damning picture, while forensic analysis provided further support for the prosecution's claims. As the trial progressed, the tension in the courtroom grew palpable. Melly's fate hung in the balance, and the eyes of the world were fixed upon the proceedings. Fans, critics, and legal experts closely followed every twist and turn, waiting for the truth to be revealed. Finally, after a grueling trial, the moment of truth arrived. Unfortunately, the jury would not reach an agreement. The defense called its one and only witness, YNW Melly's friend, Adrian Green. However, after 3 days of jury deliberations, the judge declared a mistrial due to apparent deadlock among the jurors. Despite the mistrial, the prosecution intended to seek a new trial for YNW Melly. The legal proceedings continued, with a new lead prosecutor filing additional charges against Melly, including directing the activities of a criminal gang and solicitation and conspiracy to commit tampering. Following the declaration of a mistrial in July 2023, the legal proceedings surrounding YNW Melly took a new turn. While the mistrial meant that the previous trial did not result in a verdict, it did not end the case. The prosecution expressed its intention to seek a new trial for Melly, indicating that the legal battle was far from over. As the anticipation for a retrial grew, YNW Melly faced another setback. In September 2023, he was denied bond, meaning he would remain in custody while awaiting the new trial. After hearing the judge's refusal to grant bond, Melly became extremely sad because it meant he would be remanded in prison indefinitely. The courtroom was filled with a mix of emotions: shock, sadness, and relief. Melly, visibly emotional, pleaded for mercy. He finally expressed remorse and regret for the allegations. Unfortunately, the judge remained unmoved. The denial of bond underscored the seriousness of the charges against him and the court's concerns about potential flight risk or danger to the community. Meanwhile, YNW Bortland, Melly's alleged accomplice, also faced legal trouble. In October 2023, Bortland was arrested on a warrant accusing him of witness tampering. The arrest came as a shock to many, adding another layer of complexity to the case. The specifics of the alleged witness tampering were not immediately disclosed, but it further highlighted the gravity of the situation surrounding the investigation and the potential impact on the trial. As the legal proceedings continued, the public's attention remained fixated on the fate of YNW Melly and the unfolding developments in the case. In October 2023, as the anticipation for a retrial grew, the prosecution took a significant step by filing 7 new charges against YNW Melly. These charges included directing the activities of a criminal gang, unlawful use of a two-way communication device, and solicitation and conspiracy to commit tampering. The new charges added a layer of complexity to the case and raised the stakes for Melly.
Melly, whose real name is Jamel Demons, is already in custody, but new allegations say he developed a, quote, sophisticated system to communicate with individuals outside of the Broward County Jail, including his co-defendant, Cortland Henry.
The charge of directing the activities of a criminal gang suggested that the prosecution aimed to establish a broader criminal enterprise involving Melly and his alleged accomplices. The unlawful use of a two-way communication device charge indicated that the prosecution believed Melly had used technology to facilitate illegal activities. Additionally, the solicitation charges and conspiracy to commit tampering suggested that the prosecution suspected Melly of attempting to influence witnesses or obstruct justice. These new charges had significant implications for the upcoming trial. They expanded the scope of the case and increased the potential penalties Melly could face if found guilty. The prosecution's decision to file these charges indicated their determination to present a comprehensive case against Melly, leaving no stone unturned in their pursuit of justice. The defense team faced the challenge of addressing these new charges and mounting a robust defense strategy. The implications of the additional charges weighed heavily on the defense's approach as they sought to challenge the prosecution's case and protect Melly's rights. The new prosecutor alleged that YNW Melly himself admitted to the deadly shootings in an Instagram direct message. This revelation added a new layer of intrigue to the case, as the prosecution tried to use this alleged admission to undermine the rapper's claims of innocence. In the Instagram message, which was sent on October 26, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, YNW Melly is said to have responded to a concerned message from a fan or associate with the words, "I did that, shh." The prosecution argued that this succinct admission, when read in the context of the messages from individuals checking on the rapper's well-being after the incident, provides a damning piece of evidence against him. YNW Melly's popularity and social media following have also been scrutinized during the trial. On the other side of the courtroom, YNW Melly's defense attorney has strongly hit back against the prosecution's claim. His attorney acknowledged that the law does not require the state to prove motive to convict his client of murder. However, the attorney invited the jurors to look beyond the law and into the mind of the person on trial. The defense argues that there is no reason for YNW Melly to have committed such a heinous act against his best friends, with whom he grew up, hung out, and pursued their careers together. At the young age of 23, Melly is at the risk of being sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The weight of the sentence will be felt throughout the music industry if Melly is found guilty. However, the families of the victims, who had endured unimaginable pain and loss, would finally get some closure when the truth is revealed. They will feel a sense of peace that justice has been served and that Melly would pay for the lives he had taken if he was indeed guilty. It is important to note that Melly is innocent until he is proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Everyone simply has to wait for the new trial to commence to see if Melly is guilty. Controversy over Melly's reaction to charges. The controversy surrounding YNW Melly's case extended beyond the courtroom. It centered around his reaction to the charges brought against him, which left many questioning his innocence and the sincerity of his emotions.
Apparent prayers and kisses blown into the air. YNW Melly has been pretty expressive for the camera in the courtroom. What does it mean for him, if anything? We discuss.
One of the most striking moments came when Melly's mugshot was released. In a surprising display, he was seen smiling, a gesture that seemed inconsistent with the gravity of the situation. The image quickly went viral, sparking outrage among fans and critics alike. The smile in the mugshot became a symbol of controversy, with many interpreting it as a sign of arrogance or a lack of remorse. It seemed to contradict the image of a grieving friend that Melly had portrayed in the aftermath of the murders. The public demanded answers, seeking to understand the true nature of Melly's emotions. Adding fuel to the fire, Melly released a song titled Two-Face after his arrest. The song's lyrics reference his case, further intensifying the scrutiny surrounding his behavior. Critics argued that the song's release was inappropriate, given the seriousness of his charges. The public's reaction to Melly's behavior was divided. Some believed that his actions were indicative of guilt, viewing the smile in the song release as evidence of a lack of remorse. They argued that if Melly truly believed in his innocence, he should have shown more respect for the lives lost and the pain experienced by the victims' families, victims who were his best friends since childhood. In a press conference held just days after the charges were made public, Melly took to the podium, exuding an air of confidence that seemed almost surreal given the gravity of the situation. With cameras flashing and reporters eagerly awaiting their every word, Melly began to speak, his voice steady and unwavering. "I categorically deny all of these outrageous allegations," Melly declared, his words ringing out with conviction. "I have been wrongfully accused and I will fight tooth and nail to prove my innocence. These charges are nothing more than a malicious attempt to tarnish my name and destroy my career." The room erupted in gasps and murmurs as Melly's bold statement reverberated through the crowd. It was a defiant stance that few had expected, considering the overwhelming evidence presented by the prosecution, but Melly remained. resolute, refusing to let the weight of the charges break their spirit. Melly's legal team outlined their defense strategy as the press conference continued. They argued that the evidence against their client was circumstantial at best, pointing out inconsistencies in witness testimonies and raising questions about the credibility of the alleged victims. It was a calculated move aimed at casting doubt on the prosecution's case and planting seeds of uncertainty in the jury's minds. But it wasn't just the legal defense that left people stunned. Melly's reaction extended beyond the courtroom as they took to social media to rally their loyal fan base. In several impassioned posts, Melly proclaimed their innocence and called for their supporters to stand by them during this trying time. The response was overwhelming, with fans flooding social media platforms with messages of unwavering support and the hashtag #JusticeForMelly trending worldwide. Many of these fans supported Melly, insisting on his innocence and claiming he was being framed. They argued that his smile and the song release were acts of defiance in the face of an unjust system. They believed that Melly's actions were a way of asserting his innocence and maintaining his artistic expression. The controversy cast a shadow over his music, tarnishing his reputation and raising doubts about his authenticity as an artist. Melly's mother, devastated by the outcome of his trial, vowed to keep fighting for her son's freedom when the new trial starts. She became a symbol of unwavering maternal love, determined to exhaust every legal avenue in the pursuit of justice. Fellow rappers who had once shared stages and studios with Melly expressed shock and sadness at the outcome. They mourned the loss of a talented artist and the potential cut short by his alleged actions. The music community felt the weight of the sentence, recognizing the irreversible damage caused by the double homicide. Loyal fans, deeply invested in Melly's music and persona, protested charges. They claimed that he had been framed and that the truth had been twisted to fit a narrative of guilt. Their voices echoed through social media platforms and protests, demanding justice for Melly. The once promising artist, who had achieved significant popularity at a young age, may now be faced with a future confined within prison walls, or worse, the death penalty. The legacy of YNW Melly, once filled with promise and potential, will forever be altered by the events that unfolded, whether he is found guilty or not. His name would forever be associated with the brutal crimes he was charged with, overshadowing any musical accomplishments he had achieved. The sentence effectively marked the end of an era. It's not a stain he can easily clean. The doors of opportunity will be slammed shut if he is found guilty, and he will have to face the harsh reality of life behind bars. However, even in the face of such a devastating sentence, there are still questions about what lies ahead for the once promising artist. Melly's legal team may appeal for a new trial and will try to overturn a guilty verdict and secure his freedom. However, the odds of success will be undeniably slim. Appeals are notoriously difficult to win, requiring substantial new evidence or proof of legal errors during the original trial. While it is within Melly's rights to pursue this avenue, the likelihood of a successful appeal remains uncertain. His best chance would be to prove his innocence during the upcoming retrial. As the years pass, Melly's name and music will inevitably fade into obscurity behind prison walls. The vibrant persona that once captivated audiences will be confined to the memories of his fans. The music industry, ever evolving and fickle, will move on, leaving Melly's legacy to gather dust. He will only be remembered as the rapper who killed his friends. While Melly's music will continue to exist in the digital realm, it will merely echo what could have been. The songs that once resonated with fans will gradually fade into the background, overshadowed by the weight of his crimes. New voices and new stories will replace the impact he once had on the music industry. Behind bars, Melly will face the daily challenges of prison life. The freedom he once enjoyed will be a distant memory, replaced by the confines of a cell. The passing of time will bring its struggles and adjustments as he navigates the complexities of life within the prison system. It's an unfortunate truth that YNW Melly isn't the only rapper who has been accused of killing someone else or engaging in other violent and destructive activities. Over the years, violence has been a part of the industry. Kid Creole, a founding member of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, also faced murder charges a few years ago. He was involved in a tragic incident in 2017. His fatal stabbing of a homeless man, John Jolly, shocked the hip-hop community and served as a stark reminder of the consequences of violence. According to police reports, Creole argued with a homeless man one fateful day. The argument escalated, and in a fit of rage, Kid Creole drew a knife and pierced John Jolly multiple times. The homeless man, unable to defend himself, succumbed to his injuries and tragically lost his life. Kid Creole was arrested and charged with murder. The once iconic rapper rapper now found himself on the wrong side of the law, facing the grim reality of a life forever changed. As the case unfolded, the world watched with bated breath, waiting for justice to be served. During the trial, the prosecution painted a picture of a man consumed by anger and violence. They presented evidence that suggested Kid Creole had a history of aggression and a short fuse. It was a damning portrayal that left little room for doubt in the minds of the jury. On the other hand, the defense argued that the altercation resulted from self-defense. They claimed that Kid Creole had felt threatened by John Jolly and had acted out of fear for his safety. However, the evidence presented by the prosecution seemed to outweigh any claims of self-defense. Kid Creole was found guilty of murder. The once beloved rapper, whose music had touched the lives of many, was now a convicted criminal. The judge handed down a sentence that would forever alter the course of Kid Creole's life. For these acts of violence to stop, there has to be a fundamental change in the industry. Artists need to stop making their music about violence and channel their talents toward building more upbuilding content. It may be too late for young rappers like Kid Creole and YNW Melly, but such a change may benefit other rising stars in the industry now and in the future. Click on the next video to learn more about YNW Melly's double murder trial.